Greetings, citizens of YouTube, coming to you live and bearded. I'm Steve Lantern with this week's episode of Exposed Turnbuckle, the show where we talk about all things wrestling. It comes out of nowhere and it hits you like an RKO. So last night was Survivor Series. Now, we're going to wait to talk about the one thing that everybody wants to talk about. We're going to wait. Just be patient. We're going to get there. Don't worry, we're going to get there because I'm itching to get there. Okay. Alright. Gotta compose ourselves, and we gotta get through this. So last night was Survivor Series. It was the pay-per-view that WWE was giving away for free on the WWE Network. So, I asked, how WWE can you sell me this pay-per-view for free? What are you going to do to make me watch? What are you going to do to make everybody watch? So, what they did was not include the WWE Championship in any matches, nor the WWE Champion, Brock Lesnar. Nowhere to be seen. Hadn't been heard from. Nobody's even brought him up. However, what has been brought up a lot was the Team Cena versus Team Authority match. Now, people like me thought Team Authority was going to come through and just win this thing in some dirty, crooked way. I thought Randy Orton was going to come out and look like he was going to be on Team Cena's side, and then he was going to, betray Team Cena, and the Authority would still be around, and yada, 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 yada. I thought for sure that was what's going to happen, because the team members in Team Cena all looked pretty expendable. No offense to Dolph Ziggler, I love the guy, but I could have easily seen Triple H getting on Monday Night Raw tonight and just being like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. So, I didn't have a hard time believing that the Authority could win that match. On the other hand, I thought for sure that Team Cena would win, and who knows who would have made their return. Everybody thought that, Dolph Ziggler was going to get injured somehow, and then, Randy Orton was the number one name that kept getting brought up, and Randy Orton would have basically become a tweener. So, with that, we didn't expect what was going to happen next. But we're not going to talk about it just yet. Don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting there. So let's talk about some key points from the night, and let's talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. So, a lot of what happened last night, it was really hit and miss. You had The Miz and Damien Mizdow win the Tag Team Championships from Goldust and Stardust. Now, I don't know how I feel about this. On the one hand, I'm like, okay, The Miz and Damien Sandow aren't terrible together, but the gimmick, it hurts. It really, really hurts to see Damien Sandow in this gimmick where he's just puppeting and mimicking and miming everything that The Miz does, and it's sad. It's really sad to see Damien Sandow like this, and I even find myself, almost calling him Damien Mizdow because this is now his identity, and I don't know who Damien Sandow, see, again, I just almost did it. I don't know who he pissed off in the higher-ups to get this gimmick, but I remember seeing the interview last night, and they interviewed Miz and Sandow, and Miz holding both the belts as if he needs to, and just being a general shit. I was just like, what the come on. And Mizdow, he's just standing there like he's holding the belts, and he's not. And I'm just like, you're not even going to let him hold a championship. Even though he is a tag team champion, you're not even going to let him hold the belt for the sake of this gimmick. Oh, I just felt bad. That's all I felt. I'll be honest with you, I actually like Goldust and Stardust. I really feel like Goldust is actually at the best of his entire career right now, and I think Cody is going to do a great job taking over the mantle of the Bizarre One as Stardust. He really just fell into his own with that gimmick because he could never really sell it to me any other way, not with the dashing Cody Rhodes or in Legacy or any of that. You know, he's really come into his own with Stardust, and I want to see that character stick around for the remainder of Cody's career. Like, that character is just great. I love it. And I know Goldust isn't eternal. He's not going to be able to last forever. I mean, he is an old guy now, so even though he's doing the absolute best I've ever seen him do, I don't know how much longer he's going to have to last, so there's that. Now, the next thing, Nikki Bella winning the Divas Championship. Oh, words. Can't even describe how much I hate this. The Bellas are just awful. They're awful, they're bad, they're terrible. They are just the worst. They are just the absolute worst. And I don't get it. Is it the Total Divas thing? I mean, AJ Lee and Paige are infinitely more talented than the Bellas. Natalya, you've relegated Natalya to being basically a manager or a trophy for Tyson Kidd. No offense to Tyson Kidd, he's great. But this isn't what you do with the daughter of Jim the Anvil Nader. You don't do this. The niece of Bret Hart? I mean, damn, Vince, are you still bitter? Come on, man, I thought we had put this aside. But to have Natalya... But we're getting off topic here. The fact of the matter is the kiss. That just... I don't know, man. That just felt so forced. That felt so forced. It was a stupid way to end the match. It's a dumb way to bring about the end of AJ Lee's championship, and I'm just not a fan. I really liked the chemistry that AJ Lee and Paige had together. Those two, I mean, they could really be our next Trish and Lita, but they would both be the next Lita. Or at least that's the way I see it. I've actually, I'll be honest with you, I've never been fond of that comparison. I don't want them to be the next Trish and Lita. I don't want them to be the next Moolah and Mae Young. I want them to be the AJ Lee. I want them to be the Paige. So I've never thought that that's a fair comparison when you're trying to compare them to stars past. You know, they're unique. They're unique in their own way. You can make some comparisons, but don't let that be your judgment of their character. So that's what I've always felt is truly holding AJ Lee and Paige back. Not only does Vince love the buxom blondes and the supermodels pretending to be wrestlers, but, you know, people just keep making that comparison. And it really is sad, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. Next, Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. Now, I knew from the beginning that this match had a lot of potential to be great, because that's featuring two of my favorites right now. I love Bray Wyatt, I love Dean Ambrose. The two are dynamite on the mic. Those two are amazing on the mic. So put them together and you got this ultimate recipe for chaos in the ring. And I gotta say, it was a great match. I don't know, I want to see more. I think that I feel like this feud in particular was rushed. I feel like this was just a quick way to get Ambrose out of the equation so that way they could make way for what was really going to happen in the Team Authority versus Team Cena match. So, I don't know, I mean, I love both of those guys, and I think they both did a stellar job in their match together, but I truly believe that it could have been, the whole storyline could have been done better. Ambrose is going to be the company's face here very soon, and what I want, my Christmas wish, WWE, my Christmas wish, is that over the next year, I want to see Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose WWE Championship match. That's what I want to see. That's my Christmas wish. Oh, and bring Sami Zayn up to the main roster and fit him into the equation too, please. That would be fantastic. Don't job him, please. Don't do anything bad to Sami Zayn. But again, we're getting off topic. Now it's time. Now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. So, we all know how it ended, but now we need to talk. Sting. Sting finally makes his appearance in a WWE ring. That was by far one of the most goosebump-inducing moments I've seen in a very, very long time. Seeing him walk down the ramp, seeing his face on the Titantron, seeing him have that stare down with Hunter, seeing all that is a moment that I have dreamed about. It's a moment that I never, in all my time of being a Sting fan, would I have ever thought that I would see. I never thought I would ever see it. I never thought I was ever going to see Sting cross into that ring. I never thought that the dream matchups that I had would come true. But now there's that possibility that they could. So, I couldn't be more elated. They went with the Stinger. They went with the Crow. They went with his Crow persona. That's what I wanted. That's what the fans remember. That's the one that's the most iconic. Not the main event Mafia from TNA, not the Joker from TNA, not the old school Ultimate Warrior look from early WCW. No. The one we all know, the Crow look. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to see. The only way they could have really made that better is if he okay, now we need to talk. We need to talk about what could have been better about it. It was already great, but what could have been better? What was the way that they could have cemented that? What was the way that they would have knocked us? Not just knocked us on our asses, all us old school fans. What was the way they could have just given us the 1-2 punch and made us wake up and think that we were dreaming that Sting had come back to WWE, or had made his debut on WWE? So, first of all, I would have preferred it if he had descended from the rafters. That when Scott Armstrong came out and the music cued, the lights went black. The lights went totally black. And then you just heard it in the background. The Crow crowing, and then his music hits. And then he descends from the rafters, down in front of Triple H, baseball bat in hand, and disposed of Scott Armstrong the way he did, and just stared Hunter down. But then, and I noticed this, Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler were down for a pretty decent amount of time. Just sitting there, just Seth Rollins just laying across Dolph Ziggler, probably just having a friendly little chat over there. I had a really hard time believing that they were knocked out for that long, so that was kind of the thing. I was like, this is a weird sell right here. I would have much preferred Rollins to have gotten up and Sting disposed of him, and then Hunter attacked Sting for just a brief moment, and then Sting get the stinger on him, and then have Ziggler pin Rollins for the 1-2-3. That's what I would have preferred. But they didn't do it that way. So that was really the only thing that I thought weird about Sting's comeback. Was just the way that everybody else handled it. Sting himself was awesome. Sting himself was great. But, you know, I really would have preferred if they had done it that way. Don't get me wrong. I could not be more grateful that Sting is in a WWE ring right now. And I can't wait to watch Raw tonight. I'm going to tell you what. Raw is going to see the highest ratings it has ever seen in the last 10 years, thanks to this debut. I guarantee it. I guarantee guarantee it. So, I'm ready to see where this goes. Are we going to see an epic showdown between Triple H and Sting at SummerSlam? Are we finally going to get an answer of the whereabouts of Brock Lesnar? Are we going to see some justice finally brought to the WWE? Well, loyal citizens of YouTube and my loyal fans of Exposed Turnbuckle, we will find out. And when we find out, we'll be covering it all here on Exposed Turnbuckle. So until then, don't wait for the bell to toll. Stay tuned. We'll be back.